Welcome, and thank you for taking the time to learn a bit more about Commissioner Tools and the Unit Service Plan. This presentation is aimed to support those serving in a Commissioner Tools champion role, whether at the district, council, or area level. Before we move away from the introductory slide, please take a moment to read the BSA Intellectual Property Statement found on this slide. If you need more time to read this statement, please pause the presentation now. This presentation should take about 25 minutes or less to complete and will cover the following 7 topics: the champion's role, 4 areas of our mission as commissioners, resources, unit service plan, basic steps, access, troubleshooting and browsers, next steps, and the web page address. Before we get too far into this presentation, we need to set the stage. Some of you may remember the challenges we had to overcome with the Unit Visit Tracking System, aka UVTS. The focus team that developed Commissioner Tools was very sensitive to the lessons gained and learned from UVTS, including the importance of managing the user experience so that it's a positive and good experience. There are 4 change management lessons that we need to emphasize in your role as instructing other commissioners in how to use Commissioner Tools. First and foremost, Commissioner Tools is not some computerized attempt to replace or do away with the human when it comes to commissioner service. Commissioner Tools is not an early version of the holographic doctor we see in Star Trek: The Next Generation. It has often been said that the biggest part of a commissioner's job is relationships, and that remains unchanged. And building and maintaining relationships is best accomplished face-to-face. What Commissioner Tools is intended to do is help a commissioner more effectively do what should otherwise be done without a computer. All successful change management has the support of the boss. People look to their leadership for guidance, and actions speak louder than words. If the leaders say one thing and do something else, the troops see this behavior and respond accordingly. You have probably heard the phrase, walk the talk, which applies to implementing Commissioner Tools just as it would any other major organizational change. Taking this change management lesson a step further, starting effective change at the top includes what we say and write. If we send out an email telling everyone that they have to start using Commissioner Tools, and it's such a wonderful improvement over UVTS, yet we get frustrated when we have computer problems and then start bad-mouthing Commissioner Tools, we send a mixed message that is similar to the man nodding his head up and down while saying, "No, you can't do that." By the way, an example of having computer issues is not so far-fetched, but how often is the problem not the computer or the software as opposed to the user who might not know how the software behaves? Commissioner Tools is a web-based tool that relies on an internet browser. If you don't know how your browser manages information, often by using a recently stored version of the data, which is called cache, you might find that you have fallen victim to your equipment outsmarting you. Our National Commissioner, Tico Perez, likes to use the term picnic, problem in chair, not in computer. There's no way to dance around this issue. People resist change. Change disrupts our comfort level. It's human nature to wish to stay in our comfort zone. If you want a demonstration of just how much people dislike change, see what happens if you move a coworker's desk or park in their parking spot. And perhaps the most egregious of all transgressions that you could try to prove how much people resist change, go change the desktop on somebody's computer. None of this is new. Over 400 years ago, Francois de la Foucault is quoted as saying, "The only constant in life is change." What we need to do as leaders is to make change easier by managing the change. Change can be painful or painless. It's a matter of how extensive the change is and how well we prepare for that change. The more extensive the change, the greater the amount of preparation that will be required to make a smooth and relatively painless change. We will go into this more on the next slide. However, in summary, your role as a champion is to help the commissioners within your purview so their transition from UBTS to Commissioner Tools is as successful and positive an experience as possible. So, you are a champion. Congratulations. This assignment is much more than a fancy title, but isn't that true of all commissioner positions these days? What distinguishes you from other commissioners when it comes to Commissioner Tools is that you are a leader. People will expect you to help in the development of the plan to deploy Commissioner Tools in your local council. Besides, each district, council, and area is unique, and it's not possible to create a single, nationally developed training syllabus that addresses all the individual variables that might be encountered across the USA. Instead, as the champion, you're in a position to make recommendations on the development and execution of local plans. But don't kid yourself. The role you have as a champion will impact the adoption of Commissioner Tools for good or bad. A positive attitude and approach will point you on the path of success. Depending on the size of the organization that you are supporting, you may work alone or you may enlist the help of many. There are fully developed position descriptions for both an area and council champion, which can be found on the Commissioner Tools website. Feel free to use these position descriptions as they are or to modify them to better suit your specific circumstances. The Commissioner is also a trainer. Those who have taken Wood Badge may remember the EDGE method, which is a good way to conduct training. Remember, EDGE stands for Explain, Demonstrate, Guide, and Enable. Except for the smallest councils, I strongly recommend that the Commissioner Tools champion not be the council commissioner. The typical council commissioner has many other items on their plate to take on in addition to this responsibility. These are the areas on which commissioners must be focused. Commissioner Tools supports each of these either directly or indirectly. While these should be familiar, the National Commissioner Support Staff established these in the spring of 2012. They remain fundamental to achieving excellence in unit service, but there are areas worth noting. Annually, as the Journey to Excellence metrics are adjusted, we will need to adjust what we measure to develop our unit service plans, which will in turn cause us to make minor but important adjustments to our Commissioner Tools assessment forms. We now speak of contacts rather than visits, recognizing there are now a broad spectrum of ways for commissioners to have meaningful interaction with units. Commissioners should have personal meetings in a variety of settings to become familiar with the unit's program and operations, and contemporary tools enable electronic communications to be both effective and timely. Capturing unit strengths and needs speaks directly to the significance of the unit service plan and the changes it makes to our approach to unit service. We now speak of contacting units first, then linking their needs to District Operating Committee resources, another reference to the unit service plan and its focus on developing collaborative assessments of unit health. And of course, unchanged is the support commissioners provide to the charter renewal process. As a Commissioner Tools champion, there are many resources available to help you. The first include those commissioners that may either have more experience with Commissioner Tools or access themselves to additional resources. For a Council Commissioner Tools champion, those individuals would include commissioners at the area level, such as your area champion, an assistant area commissioner, or an area commissioner. If you are a district champion, you should look up one level to your council champion, an assistant council commissioner for Commissioner Tools. If you're already working at an area level, you should first consult with your area commissioner, but then I would reach out directly to the Commissioner Tools focus team using the email commissionertools@scouting.org. As it is always true, try to resolve your question at the lowest level possible. There are also several orientation sessions that can be held, either one that has been recorded like this session or one of the live webinars that may have been recorded. If live webinars are still available, their dates and times are posted within the my.scouting.org firewall of the homepage. Additionally, we'll also be on social media sites. It's a good segue to the next resource, social media. The only official BSA Commissioner social media outlet is the Facebook page shown. There are, however, several other forums such as Facebook pages, LinkedIn, and Yahoo groups. Regardless of what level you sit at, if you are in a pinch, contact the Commissioner Tools Focus Group using this email shown. Of course, there's also a wealth of resources such as documents and presentations on the Commissioners page of the National BSA website. Presently, you can jump to the Commissioner Tools page by selecting it down the left-hand stack of links. You will note that the Unit Service Plan and Commissioner Tools share a link. The direct hyperlink is shown at the bottom of this page. Simplified and summarized, the Unit Service Plan has 5 steps. Build and maintain that personal relationship with your unit's Key 3. This should be considered an extension of the unit, a trusted friend to their leaders. After discussing with the unit Key 3, schedule a future detailed assessment. Use common sense here. You need to give the Key 3 adequate time to complete their inputs before you meet. Probably 2 weeks' time is the absolute minimum under normal circumstances. Together, the Commissioner and the Key 3 meet and compare their thoughts to develop a set of actionable items with responsibilities and due dates. As needed, the Commissioner provides expert help to the unit from beyond the unit. It has been said, what gets measured is what gets done. With that thought in mind, the Commissioner should use simple assessments to track progress. One of the key distinctions between UBTS and Commissioner Tools is the Journey to Excellence linkage via the Unit Service Plan. As we designed Commissioner Tools, we built the assessment forms directly from the Unit Service Plan, and thus the Unit Service Plan became a key component of Commissioner Tools. Consequentially, we stated previously, annually, the Journey to Excellence metrics are adjusted, and we will need to adjust what we have to measure to develop our unit service plans, which will in turn cause us to make minor but important adjustments to our Commissioner Tools assessments forms. Another difference between UBTS and the Commissioner Tools is the ability to conduct collaborative health assessments. A collaborative assessment, which is initiated by the Commissioner scheduling a future detailed assessment contact with the unit, simultaneously sends the Unit Key 3 a self-assessment form which can be completed online. Remembering that the job of being a Commissioner is one where personal interaction is a key to the job, and it would be best practice to discuss your unit's Key 3 in advance of sending them an impersonal email with a link to complete the unit assessment. Then once the Unit Key 3 and the Commissioner have each completed their own assessments of the unit, the Commissioner should schedule a time when all parties can come together and discuss their assessments, reach a common understanding, and then develop a tailored and individualized unit service plan. This process should ideally be accomplished once every 6 months and will be fully measured on such a schedule through Journey to Excellence in 2016 for districts and councils. Since 2015 is a Commissioner Tools transition year for many councils, only one of these detailed assessments is required by JTE for that year. Another important differentiator between UBTS and Commissioner Tools is through the use of Commissioner Tools, the Commissioner and unit are able to develop, as appropriate, a set of actionable items with accountability and due dates. Commissioner Tools has 2 primary types of assessments, which are described in detail in other training materials. Those assessments are, first off, detailed assessments. There are actually 3 types of detailed assessments within each program area. We usually discussed the collaborative assessment, which is initiated by scheduling a future detailed assessment. A Commissioner can also do a full-blown detail assessment on their own, which element by element matches and overlays the unit service plan exactly. Or a Commissioner could do an intermediate assessment, where the Commissioner can summarize their input for a collection of sub-elements at a group level, such as membership. The last 2 subtypes of detailed assessments would be good if you had a major update between collaborative assessments, or if you really wanted to go into detail about a few specific sub-elements. Simple assessments support the unit service plan and detailed assessment process on an ongoing basis between detailed assessments, such as every time a commissioner has a significant contact with a unit. By the way, a simple assessment could also be used by a roundtable commissioner to document a significant contact that they may have had with a unit. With the deployment of Commissioner Tools, we brought together a few different scoring schemes which are shown in this slide. Most are familiar with the red, yellow, green stoplight system where red is bad, green is good. In the past, we have used some numerical scores of 1 to 3 where 1 was high or good and 3 was low. Our numerical scoring system now goes from 1 to 5, with 1 being low, equivalent to red, and 5 being high, equivalent to green, with 3 being medium or yellow. To help commissioners in scoring the various elements and sub-elements, we have used simple definitions where appropriate, such as typical unit could be improved for a 3 or yellow, and making progress towards the ideal unit for a 4, which is between green and yellow. Although the matrix uses the colors lime and orange for numerical scores of 4 and 2 respectively, I don't know if an additional practice would be required for computer users to be able to tell the difference between lime, green, and orange and red. Displayed at the far right column, we have a different set of helper definitions for the sub-elements that fall in the program group. As you work with your commissioners to gain access to Commissioner Tools, even before your council goes live, there are things you can do. First, make sure that everyone knows that Commissioner Tools is accessed through my.scouting.org, which should not be confused with the older myscouting.org. Notice the red dot on the slide for added emphasis. Commissioners need to verify that they are actually registered as a commissioner. This is done by going to the myscouting.org website and checking your profile. Here you would want to verify that the correct membership number and email address shows up, which is associated with your commissioner role. If you need to create your initial profile, it will take about 20 to 30 minutes to appear. Your access to Commissioner Tools will occur when your council goes live. At the same time, as a commissioner, you will be granted access to the Member and Training Managers area as well. As a champion, everyone will expect you to be an expert on all things computer and internet related, which initially you may not be. However, this slide summarizes in 5 bullets just about everything you're going to need to know to solve the most common problem users will have. Sometimes the screen won't fully populate. To solve this problem, either refresh your screen by re-clicking the original button that got you to this screen. If that doesn't work, try clearing your cache. You should also clear cache whenever you think the data on the screen has not been updated with newer information. If the first 2 steps don't work, try rebooting your computer. As simple as it is, it works. From a performance perspective, Google Chrome and Firefox seem to be the fastest and most reliable browsers. If you are still having problems, seek help from those one level above you. Here are the current minimum browsers recommended. Yes, Commissioner Tools has been tested with Apple products. While it is our goal to make Commissioner Tools mobile friendly, and it will work on some mobile devices right now, that ability is not officially supported yet. This slide shows what your login screen looks like for My.Scouting. Once you are logged in, you can access all the My.Scouting tools that your My.Scouting profile supports. For commissioners, these commissioner tools would be at a minimum including Commissioner Tools, Member Manager, and Training Manager. Depending on the natural context of your commissioner role, that is your highest commissioner position, you may also have access to other tools such as Commissioner Administration. Administrative commissioners have access to Commissioner Administration. Administrative commissioners include all commissioners except unit commissioners and assistant roundtable commissioners. Specific functions that administrative commissioners can do include assign and unassigned commissioners to units, monitor individual commissioner performance by looking at their contact history, and verify the commissioner role assigned to a specific commissioner. You should anticipate commissioners asking you, how do we know if we are successful? 4 early indicators of success are an increased number of units with an assigned commissioner, a greater percentage of commissioners who are making unit contact entries than were compared to UVTS, the percentage of units having simple assessments is increasing over time, and the percentage of units having detailed assessments is increasing over time. We've nearly completed this lesson for Commissioner Tools Champions. As you leave this training, we would like to start you to think about, what should I do next? Depending on where your council is at in accepting and adopting their acceptance protocols, you can assist your council commissioner and scout executive in completing and submitting these protocols. Until those protocols are submitted, we don't know when your council wants to start using Commissioner Tools. Go to the national website and familiarize yourself with all the various Commissioner Tools resources that are there to help you. If you are a large council or an area commissioner, you can help in the recruiting of Commissioner Tools champions for your districts or councils, as the case may be. Help establish your definition of success, assist in training, and don't forget to evaluate and celebrate.